Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of All the Mods 6. I thought we should start today's episode by a big explosion. It was epic, I know. We just want to do a little bit of automation in our Botania area, so I needed a quantum ring. And there you go, 32 channels. And we should have access to our applied energistic system on this island. In between the cutscenes I made a few cocoons of Caprice so that I can get a few shulkers so that I can make a few shulker boxes. Now we have an applied energistics box, redstone box, Botania box and decorations box. And yes, we're using netherite as decorations. I also traded with a wandering trader in order to get efficiency 10 and then I dropped him into the void. That was fun. Changed the roof of my gazebo to Portuguese pavement because I saw Fondo's video and I'm a cheap copycat. Sue me. Later I thought since we want to do a little bit of Botania, I should dress up accordingly. Oh sorry, that was a private photo. I meant this one. I also killed a few hundred villagers for mana. And finally, after getting so many recommendations and comments, I realized my ignorance and saw the benefit of using a time in a bottle, so I decided to make one. No, of course not. But admit it, you believed me for a second. Enough of fooling around, let us get down to business. The first thing that we want to automate is the Jaded Amaranthus. It's a functional flora. If you give it mana, it will plant flowers, which can be easily demonstrated. Wrong gun. So if we harvest the flowers with the proper gun, you might notice that it's planting new flowers. And automating it is relatively easy. You just need a drum of the wild, you give it a pulse of mana, it will harvest everything. So here is how we are going to do this. We're going to have a hovering hourglass, which is our timer. I'm going to give it 2 soul sand, so it will only function every 2 minutes. We need a pulse mana spreader on top. Then we will have the Jaded Amaranthus and the drum of the wild on top. If you set it up like this, you might notice a giant flaw. The mana burst cannot reach the drum. This is why we're going to use a phantom lens. Now if we fire, it will harvest it. A phantom lens will let the mana burst to go through blocks. And it does not really matter how many blocks you have, it will go through them anyways. We are also going to use a vacuumulator from thermal expansion so that we can pick up the drops. But here is the point. We're not interested in flowers, we're more interested in petals. If you want to convert them using your applied energistic system, you're going to need 16 patterns. But there is a far easier solution from Botania itself called a crafty crate. This is an automatic crafting table, and if you give it a pattern, it will try to look for valid recipes and it will try to craft the items for you. The 9 slots that you see over here resemble the 9 slots that we have on the crafting table. And the way that you convert a mystical flower to a petal is just putting it in a crafting grid, right? So we have to give a pattern to the crafty crate that, hey, don't use the other 8 slots, just use 1. And how do you do that? You just use a combination of crafting placeholders and a redstone dust, and that will give you a pattern. So if I give the pattern to the crafty crate, give it a flower, we get petals. So the only thing that we have to do over here is to extract the flowers from our vacuumulator, put it inside the crafty crate, give it a pattern, and import it into our applied energistic system using an ender chest. It's actually very useful because now we can also make all the dyes. And everything is also covered. I think our next order of business should be living rock and living wood, using pure daisies, which the texture looks weird. We all know that in order to automate living wood and living rock, there is a very old trick in applied energistic system involving formation planes and annihilation planes. And if I want to demonstrate it for you, we just need an interface. We need 1 cable and 1 formation plane. If I give this guy cobblestone, he will place it for us. And if I break it, he will place more. Of course, you can also set a filter so that it does not place the cobblestone and it will only place stone. So the ME formation plane is your block placer and the ME annihilation plane is your block breaker. And it's really fast. Of course, it will only work as long as you have an inventory attached to your system. If I remove the chest, it will not break items anymore. But here's the problem, you cannot set a filter for the annihilation plane. So it doesn't really care what you put in front of it, it will just break it. So how do we set a filter for it? Well, we are going to require a drawer and we're going to lock it. So the system has only 1 inventory and that inventory is for cobblestone. Therefore, if I put cobblestone, it will be harvested, but if I put a chest, no. Using the exact same logic, we're going to automate living wood and living rock. So I do have 8 formation planes up there and they all have a filter for stone. We have 2 separate networks which are connected by an interface, and the second network that we're using only has inventory for living wood and living rock. And by the way, these drawers are locked. In this little interface that we have over here, which is hooked up to our main system, I do have a pattern for living rock, and if we order 100 of them, it should auto-craft it for us. It just takes a little bit of time because the pure daisy takes, I don't know, 1 minute. You see? It just harvested everything. And now we have 2 sets. We can process 16 at a time. Just as a very small clarification, our main network is exporting stone and wood into the second network using this interface over here. The second system is going to place down the stone and the wood, and since it does not have any space in order to store that stone and wood, it's not going to harvest them. It will wait until these guys are converted into living rock and living wood, and then it will break them and put them inside these drawers. And obviously we have import buses to import them back into our main network. Let us take a very small break from Botania and attend to something very important. We have 552 of the tier 8 crystals. That is amazing. But what does it mean? It means we're almost done. Well, technically we are not done, but at least we can have the final tier of the crystal miner and get tons of crystals. So my dear friend, here is the controller. You need 100 frames. Can I even make it? Oh. Okay, that is perfectly fine by me. We're going to salvage you. Oh, the wither died. It's not very important if he died, it depends how much gas he gave us. 21 buckets and 8 buckets over here. I honestly don't know if that's enough or not, but we will figure it out later. Now that I have brought you blocks, can you craft it for me? No. Yes, if you have the correct patterns, it can craft it for you. That was 300 nether stars. We are left with 16. So we also need to make some frequency modifiers and upgrade these ones. It will accept a total of 10 modifiers. We're going to have 10 frequency, if we can. Yes. And we're also going to try and make some bandwidth modifiers which are supposed to be luck. But it's kind of weird because you start from Ionite. Anyways, we just upgrade the bandwidth modifier to the tier 8. And now the main question is, can we craft it? Yes. So we're going to have 10 speed and 10 luck. And I have no idea if that is a perfect combination or not, but we will see. So you get your memory card, build the multi-block structure please, and that looks cool. How much RF are you going to consume? 84,000. Did you see that? Why are we getting so many crystals? It doesn't even have enough power. Let me get more power. That was actually in one of the comments that I should make some bandwidth modifiers. Apparently it works. So here is more power. How fast are you working? 37, 27, 41. So every time it almost gives us half a stack. I like comments like this. Thank you. I'm assuming we don't need this one anymore. We can actually start converting it into a resource miner because I'm out of mica. I'm not out of mica, but we're not producing any. We want to have a resource miner in the end in order to get mica, right? But we do not need a stupid amount of mica, we just need a bit in order to make modifiers. So instead of having a tier 8 ore miner, we're just going to go with chironite, which is tier 3. Of course, it's going to have frequency modifier and bandwidth modifiers so that it will mine faster and more resources. It seems to work. I did see mica, but I'm also seeing a lot of garbage which we're avoiding. In any case, if you have a resource miner in the end in order to get mica, yes, it is going to provide you with mica, but not that many resources. In addition to mica, you're basically just going to get alabaster. That's it. Yes, you see, most of them are alabaster, obsidian, and endstone. It's okay, we don't need that many resources anyways, so that will do. So here's the question, now if we remove some of the modifiers from our ore miner and replace them with bandwidth, how fast will it be? That is incredibly fast. It's actually faster than we can process it. I wish I knew about the bandwidth modifier, although you cannot make it until you reach Ionite. Cause honestly I don't know, the first one I could find was with an Ionite interconnect. And did you know, for some reason unobtainium is more obtainable than vibranium. I don't really know why, but I'm not complaining. This is going to cause an issue. I had to reduce some of the bandwidth modifiers from our ore miner because we were getting so many ores that I could not process it in time. I'm assuming this is a better rate because I can handle this one. Anyways, with the suggestion on the bandwidth modifier, our entire crystal situation has been solved. So what we're going to do is that we're going to make a solar panel, which kind of has a ridiculous recipe, but it's okay. I just have to encode a few patterns. That is just 16 patterns in order to make the wafers. Then I need 8 patterns for the cells and 8 more patterns for the controllers. That was just half a stack of patterns in order to make one controller tier 8. And it's kind of expensive. But if we want to make a solar panel, we also need a lot of nether stars. Let us start with 50. This is so fun. Okay, I just asked our applied energistic system to make us 72 tier 8 frames and we need 120 nether stars. Which is not that bad because we are getting a nether star every 4.5 seconds. For a second I thought those are withers. But we also need 289 cells. Oh, obsidian. It is perfectly fine, we have plenty of obsidian. Don't you worry. Oh, fun fact, we cannot craft it because our CPUs are not big enough. It's okay, I have ordered more CPUs. I'll be right back. I just wanted to let you know that this is extremely safe during daytime because there are no mobs around the pit. During nighttime, Mana and Artifice decides to spawn wisps and withers like to hunt them. Anyhow, the processors are ready, and where do we use them? You're not doing anything. And yes, finally we can craft 289 cells. It's just going to take a bajillion years. 18,000 redstone. Holy! We should also order the 72 structure frames and let the system worry about the withers. There is a radiant modifier, thermal modifier, electrostatic modifier, dimensional and interdimensional modifier, and I have absolutely no idea what they do. So I am going to go with basic modifiers until someone actually tells me what I should do. You're still crafting? That took ages. But it's okay, we already have it and we just need to test it. And thankfully you do not require a memory card, that is good. You are big. What am I missing? Here is a problem. Sometimes you have the blocks, it doesn't place it. Everything is wrong? Missing modifier at a position. Here? Are we good? Yes, we are good, and that is 9 million RF. I have absolutely no idea if we can transfer that much RF, but it seems we can. Yes, we are getting 9 million RF. I don't need them anymore. We're just gonna make 2 solar panels and then we're done. Well, obviously we're not going to have 2 solar panels today because these are expensive. But obviously now we need more induction cells. Can we have, I don't know, 4? Yes. I was trying to make some plutonium and we have a little bit of a situation. That is not very important, I didn't have a torch. But if I put the glass over here, we have critical damage. And unfortunately the reactor exploded, so it did damage some of the blocks. It was not a nuclear explosion, so we don't have any radiation, but it did a fair amount of damage. I think our main issue is that it was burning too hot. Well, it's cooling down. Okay, now that it's at 99%, the alarm is off. That is good, I guess. I think in order to cool it down, we have to make it bigger. I'm not sure. I'm just extremely happy that it didn't damage any of the barrels that we have down here, or even, I don't know, these machines over here. Because this one has plutonium. But I don't know, maybe if we make it like 3 blocks wider, it will be better? Because the wiki says bigger reactors are easier to cool down. This is bigger. Anyhow, let me make it bigger, then I'll be right back. As it turns out, the bigger the better. I can cool this down more efficiently and it did not explode. And these 3 tanks were full, there was a little bit of fuel in the pipe and all of that is gone. And so far it's working fine, so I'm not complaining. I also worked a little bit on our Botania area and added just 1 more automation. And since it was the easiest one to automate, I was like, okay, I can do that on my own. It was the Petal Apothecary. We do not have that many flowers to automate, but one of the ones that we use a lot is a Hopper Hawk. So if I order 1, my magnet was on. We do this again without the magnet. There you go. Hopper Hawk. And it has been collected. It's not a very fancy setup. We do have an interface over here with a pattern for Hopper Hawk. And I do have a vacuumulator down here which has a filter for Hopper Hawk and empty buckets. And just in case you're wondering, this is the recipe that I'm using. And I just remembered it's not connected to our ME system, so let us put an ender chest. Holy, what was this? How many crystals we have? You know, I can literally start building islands with this. I don't know. Oh, and by the way, the reason that I used the small interface was so that I can cover it. That's it. Otherwise, it does not serve any purpose. Everything is neat and compact. Our mana generation is down there. We do have a few mana pools as reserve underground, conjuration catalyst, alchemy catalyst, and I copied the design of the portals from Thomas on the first server. Although his portals looked cool, mine is like, I tried. And yes, I was bored, we have a pond. Even though we have access to the ultimate solar panel in this mod pack, I don't think next episode we would be able to make antimatter or power the SPS chamber. Because unfortunately my infrastructure is not the best and we have to work towards it. I was not expecting to get that many crystals and resources with just a few modifiers. So basically, me is not ready. But it is perfectly fine, we are going to work towards them. But first things first, I need slimes. There is an item from Botania called Slime in a Bottle, and that will show you slime chunks when he starts jumping up and down. It was here? Oh, it's here. I think they spawn below level 40. Do we have an angel block? No. I'm an idiot, we do not need to have an angel block. Botania has a solution. We need a rune of earth, we make a rod of the lands, we already had a rune of earth, and we just have to upgrade it to the rod of the highlands. And this is your angel block. This one seems to be a slime chunk. Fine by me. I don't think slimes care about light levels, do they? Yeah, we are getting garbage. Oh, we got slimes. We just need 1. Come with me. We don't actually need slime balls, I want slime pearls. Just a bit. Did we get any? Yes, 18. This is one of the ingredients that we need in order to make the creative essence, because we need it in order to make the angel heart vial. You see, we need fertile essence. And it has been bugging me for a while, so I'm happy we have it. We don't need it right now, but at least I can make the hero's medallion and bank my experience. In the comments of the previous episode, somebody suggested that I should make the rainbow furnace. But here's the point, as a quest reward, we got the vibranium to unobtainium furnace upgrade. And since we have a decent amount of vibranium, let us at least upgrade our existing furnace, which is this one. So you go to vibranium, unobtainium. And my question is, how fast do you work? That's not bad at all. Then maybe I'm actually going to use this one around the base. But now that we are actually doing this, someone was actually suggesting that a gas burning generator from Mechanism, if you give it ethylene, it will generate 50,000 RF. I'm not sure, is this something new in this mod pack or is this something new in 1.16? Because in 1.12, they used to make only like 5,000 RF. That was it. It's fine. We shall see soon enough. 40,000. So basically with one PRC, you can get 50,000 RF. Interesting. And we finally come to our last project for today, a few mob farms. There are a few mob drops that I want, including blaze rods and wither skeleton skulls, that I'm tired of actually doing that manually. Blaze rods, I can't really do that because our mob farm that we have over there is made out of wood, and I cannot spawn blazes in it. Therefore this one should be relatively safe. Of course, as usual, you should remember that you do not need 9 mob grinders on the top, one will do. And it doesn't even have to be on the top, it can be anywhere. But I liked it this way because I thought it's more aesthetically pleasing. So the first mob that we're going to try and spawn is going to be a blaze. And we are going to try and control everything using a screen from RF Tools. I do have a screen controller back here, so this screen should be active, yes. You shall be known as Blaze, we set you to toggle, and I don't know, purple? That's fine. Does it work? Yes, we do get blazes. However, you might notice that blazes are on the bottom, grinders are on the top. And this is why we have fans. Now they're going to be pushed up. I have another one down here for wither skeletons, and let us see if that one works as well, which it does. Oh, and by the way, if you want to place down a pedestal upgrade, you have to hold it in your offhand. It's just that filtering everything is going to take a while. I do have absorption hoppers over here, and these are the things that we're going to keep. The rest we will void. I just kept a few stack of these in our ME system, so we should be okay. It does work fine. I'm happy with it. It's just that wither skeletons drop a lot of garbage. Yeah, they do drop a little bit of garbage. I did increase the speed on the vacuum hopper, but unfortunately it's not keeping up. So maybe we just help our XNet with a logistical sorter. Is it any better? Yeah, I added a vacuumulator down here and our issue seems to be solved. Besides, we do not need to run it constantly because this is the rate that we're getting wither skeleton skulls. And honestly speaking, we don't need millions, we just need a few thousand. Anyway guys, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.